Welcome back. If you've just joined us, we're looking at the suggestion by the NLC as well as the TUC that capital punishment should be given to looters of Nigeria's Treasury. Let me just come back to you now to continue from where we stopped.
I think on this issue, the call for capital punishment is coming at the right time, where we have experienced so much problem with our public office holders. You can see corruption sitting side by side with us. Everywhere you go out to see corruption. You find out that you can even see flood all over the place. Our hospitals are not working, and you begin to ask why. Contracts have been given, money has been paid, but no job is on ground to show for. Now, if you look at the Chinese system, the Chinese system of government, where capital punishment is melted on anybody found guilty, or on any public office holder found guilty, you find out that the system is working. Look at 50 years down the line, where are we today? We should ask ourselves this question. You see, if you go to China just in 2011, let me use China as a case study. In 2011, there was a high-speed train crash that happened in China. And after investigation, they found out the cause of that crash was due to corruption. And they started probing the Ministry of Chinese Railway Corporation and the rest of them. All the officials found guilty were death penalty was melted on them, each and every one of them. Each and every one of them. You see that the system is really working. And look at where China is today. They are competing globally with United States of America. And when you come back home and see what is happening to us, it's not even the same. People still without any fear, they still without any caution, they still without the fear of God in them, and they still go away with it.
When I was very young, there were things that happened that if people stole in the community, the whole villagers, the whole people, we catch them, we make them dance naked in the whole community. Then, that was like a long time ago. They would go around, 2 or 3 different communities dancing naked. Even they would use the cane and wipe their body, and they just make them and then they let them go. People who are family members participated in this action. Then there was no sentiment about this person is my own person, that person is my own person. Why am I saying this? Nigeria, we have gotten to the stage where ethnicity, religion, and all these sentiments is what actually matters today. And if we start to create, if Buhari, knowing that a lot of people want him to fail, a lot of people still link him, still don't believe that he is pro-Nigerian. A lot of people still see him that he's a northern president and has a northern agenda. If they happen to try to push for a death penalty this time, it would not go well in Nigeria, because a lot of my South and Southeast people will say that he's doing it because he wants to decimate the number of the Igbos. And in fact, let there be the first casualty who would actually die by firing squad under this government. You would see what is going to happen in Nigeria. We are not yet that ready.
Interestingly, even the President Muhammadu Buhari, who we all believe has a very huge or rich credentials in terms of anti-corruption, doesn't appear to have the capacity to do that, because even if he wants to as an individual, he's going to be working with the same bunch of criminal elements who have stolen from our Commonwealth. And when you have that cabal so entrenched in the system, it becomes particularly difficult for one individual who is a saint to make a change. To make a change in the deeply or deep-seated system like Nigeria, you need a minimum of right minds who believe or share your dreams at the right places across board.
Comparing Nigerian to what is applicable in Nigeria is a peculiar country, just as Munwa has said. Things are different here. And as I said in the chat box, Alamisia, for example, I will use Alamisia for example. He was convicted for polluting public fund, but look at him today. Just a few months ago, he was at a rally ground. He's a big man now. We can't just talk to him anyhow and talking about shaming. Nigeria is a different country. Nigerians don't care about shame, in as much as they have that money in their pocket. The main thing they're after is the money. It's not about whether you shame them or not. What are shaming them got to do with? It is you that is shaming them. Once they throw money out, people will begin to come and praise them. Didn't they take clothes? Didn't they wear then do customized clothes for body judge when coming for prison? Please leave shame out of this thing. This is Nigeria, and let us eat the nail on the right place. Thank you.
I did say earlier that because Nigeria is so immersed in this crisis, even the whole concept of we trying to miss out the harshest of punishment should be commensurate with how much people have stolen. Again, there should be a difference between the man who steals ₦1 billion and the man who steals ₦1 million in terms of punishment, as a first step, so that gradually we can elevate that punishment to a pretty balanced scale. Now, in the case of the former board chairman of MPA and chieftain of the ex-ruling party, Chief Bode George was convicted for contract splitting. Bode George wasn't convicted because the EFCC established that monies were actually stolen by him and lodged in some kind of foreign account, as we did see, or perhaps as we did witness during the La Mesia saga. So you cannot then base their punishment at the same plane or at the same level. La Mesia was convicted for corruptly enriching himself and looting the people of Bayelsa State, an already popularized group of people, milking them dry without compassion, without mercy.
This present government is doing everything possible to stop looters from looting our fund, and apart from stopping them, to make them a scapegoat so that people will not want to rise up tomorrow and say they want to loot. That I can assure you. And to come to my other brother, sincerely speaking, I want you to know one thing. We are talking about looting of public fund here. We are not talking of looting or as in you duping your fellow contracts, your fellow whatever. We are talking of looting of public fund. Public fund is a fund that is applicable to all Nigerians, whether you are rich or small, male or female, white or black, whatever. It belongs to all Nigerians. And what we are saying is those who have gone into public office and who loot funds, not that the cheating happened in their own personal private business, they deserve to die. Once one person is shown as an example, if you want to leave, then it's so simple. Just don't loot fund. Don't look public fund. Once you loot, that is the penalty. It is only there's this adage you normally say in Yoruba land, and I will translate it. It is I forgot that adage again. As in what I'm just trying to say is that's the adage here. It is only a land where there's no law that there is no sin. And once it becomes a law that any public office holder that loots public fund shall die. That is the law. And once you know if you don't want to die, contradicting the law, then you don't loot.
All right, guys, that's it, and that's all we can take on this segment of the program. We'll take a break, and when we return, we'll be joined by a legal practitioner, Kaide Oye Makinde, to give us more analysis. But in the meantime, of course, guys, thank you for sharing your thoughts with us on the program this afternoon. Please join us after this short break.